Right, before we finish this chat with Russ, I just want to take him back in time because we're doing this segment that we always do with our experts on cricket.com called Life in Pictures, where we kind of just show them some pictures about their own career on the field and kind of tell that kind of an anecdote or maybe a story or two. Right, let's take you first and foremost. Where do we start? Let's take you to 1998 Sharjah, Ras. Now, this is you, Mahela, Chamindavas, and Sana Jayasuriya, of course, in the driver's seat. Sharjah, the Coca-Cola Trophy. What memories does this bring back to you, Russ?
Well, this was a tournament that we did dominate in, and it was a time we were having a lot of fun. Now, the lie you are telling me there is this is not Sharjah. This is the R. Premadasa Stadium, and I remember this.
You caught me off guard there. I was just kind of testing you out there.
And it was a young team. We were all coming together at that stage. And yeah, from around 1999, we formed a core group of players who took the team into the 2000s, which was a lot of fun and exciting because everyone was like, you look at Mahela, he probably was 21. There was 23, 24. So as young boys, that was a great experience. And going around the R Premadasa once we had won, it's amazing how the crowd blends in. If you do ask anyone who's played at the R Premadasa Stadium, the noise, the colors, they're just brilliant. But for us Sri Lankans with the papre bands playing, it is a different feeling. We say that we play to the beat of the papre bands.
I mean, it's just something that you always kind of associate with Sri Lankan cricket in terms of those drums. And yep, you got me out. It was not Sharjah, it was the Premadasa. So well done, Russel Arnold. We thought we were yawning earlier, but you're, of course, on your toes. Let's move swiftly to, of course, this picture, which is sticking with the Sri Lankan team in terms of home games. And this is our friends from Getty, where they described it, Russ, as Russell Arnold walking off after being refused to get out in one of the test matches. Can you explain this story to us, please?
I think this was at the SSC, and
Yeah.
it was a strange dismissal. It was the time there was no DRS, and the rule was that you only go upstairs. You go upstairs, but you can only review the catch. You can't review if it was a nick or not. And Robert Croft turned one past the bat. It spun to Nasser Hussain at first slip, and I was given out. And I think it was that game and that incident where the players were looking, and it was like, yeah, you went upstairs, you can see it didn't nick, but you're giving me out. It was one of those incidents, and moment the umpire went upstairs, there was no coming back because the rule was that he's not going to be looking at the edge, he's only going to look at the catch, and that means that part of it, even if he's going to see daylight, which he did, it still came back as out, which was pretty disappointing.
I mean, there's always a story behind those pictures. Hence, we have this segment. So let's ask you about this picture because look, everyone gave. I mean, you gave everyone the impression that you were Sri Lanka's designated close-in fielder in any format. Now, this is, of course, in the World Cup in 2007. You were pulling off a blinder there from Nari Savan. Did you enjoy this position, Russ?
Yes, it was a lot of fun. Legs, short leg or silly mid off, and to you it might be a blinder, but for me it's just another one. Avinash, I'm just being cocky here, yeah, and it was easy with like reflexes or watching the bat and trying to even take off full-blooded shots, which was a challenge. But why I said it was easy was you always felt very safe. Now most of those, I'm standing there for Muttai Muralidharan. Batsmen are looking to survive. They are not coming out to hit him. So you can feel safe, and you know that loose ball's not going to come in. So you creep in, and you're always looking to leap up and create something. And there were quite a few instances where we created wickets from nowhere. I also remember one when we watched Darrell Cullinan defend, and he defends with bat and pad close together. So it just gets stuck there, and it drops down on the middle of the pitch. So every ball, we know this is where Murali is going to bowl, and you keep driving across, and then One of those which was dropping straight down, I managed to get my hand under. That was our wicket, and we could do that because of Murli, because of his quality. And yeah, we were jumping around just simply for that reason, and had a great time under the bat.
Yeah, I mean, some really might call it bravado, and it was, of course, but you guys relished it, which is a really great story to hear from you, Russel Arnold. Now, that, of course, was the 2007 World Cup where you were fielding, but we'll show you a more stylish picture of you kind of caressing it away. Now, a couple of things about this picture, because look, we'll come to the bats that you use. There was one which was KG, the Woods Worm, I think, if I remember correctly, and now this is the AS, which is a more Pakistan sort of batting bat as such. Uh, how was that World Cup for starters? And B, what is the story about different bats?
Um, well, basically, the bats that you use are generally the same, the weight or the balance. That's what you look for. And being honest, sometimes it's just putting on a different sticker, and it necessarily doesn't mean that it's that brand. I'm giving out trade secrets here, but since you asked, that's the way it happens. I played a lot of my career with the KG bat, but towards the end of my career. Um, it was a financial decision or a monetary decision that I moved to AS towards the last series of my career. But the bats were just brilliant. I mean, they all make good bats, and KG we had a great relationship. We still are friends, and because I played with KG for long years, so it was good, and I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, it really fascinates the fans, especially with the video games around right now, to get that exact sticker and whatnot. And what about that World Cup? Because look, I remember that final vividly where the rain kind of came in, and it was really sad because Indian fans were definitely supporting the Sri Lankans at the time against the mighty Aussies. How do you look back at that World Cup? Because it was fantastic memories, I'm guessing.
It was my last series. I had decided to
Correct.
retire after the final.
Yeah.
Coming into the final, we were very confident. We had a good World Cup. Our team was good, our balance, and everyone was pretty keen in getting out there, top of their game. It was going well. And we knew, I mean, the Aussies, they have been superb for the last so many years. And in that period of time, they were the best. So we knew we can beat them. We knew we needed a good game, and we knew we were capable of it. And as long as we could produce it in that World Cup final, it would have been special. But that day just didn't go our way. It just things kept happening that was so difficult to counter. Initially, we like to play the 50-over game because it's a slow. We like to pace it out rather than having those short games, which doesn't really work for us in terms of our mindset. Uh, just at the toss, I think it rained and the game was shortened to 40 odd overs. Then came Gilchrist. Gilchrist had failed right throughout the tournament. After the semi-final win, he failed again. He apparently said in the dressing room, if we get through this game in the final, I'm going to block three and I'm going to slog everything else. And that's what he did. Went on to score 149, incredible runs. Um, and we felt we had a chance, and then got off to a good start. Sanat and I think Kumar also got runs. We were going well when the clouds rolled in and trying to beat the clouds. We were just 6, 7 runs behind. Sanat got out just at that stage. Then it started raining. It became murky. We had to continue. But the rule was again that we could come back the next day. But for some reason, the game went so deep in the rain and in those wet conditions that we had fallen behind, and it was too hard. My last innings, I went out to bat in the dark because we decided to finish it off rather than come for a fast the next day. Got a full toss from uh, Glenn McGrath. I mean, his last international wicket just there. Gilly dived and caught it. Well, that was the end of that, where you could hardly see a ball. And the last few overs, everyone blocked out just to get through it and finish off, because we, at the end of the day, Australia had done enough. Whatever that had happened around, which we 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 can't control, didn't go our way. But we decided to finish it off, and that was it. It's a day of regret, but not that World Cup. It was a great campaign.
They are runners up, but it'll certainly make something very proud for every Sri Lankan fan who was, of course, that point in time. Now, Following which, you guys returned to Sri Lanka. Now, here's a picture with you, Tilkaratni Dilshan, and of course, his son. How close are you with the SLC board and all of that which goes on behind the scenes that we don't know of? Are you kind of in good terms with them, Russ?
I'd like to think I'm on good terms with everyone, but then, as you know, in commentary, um, players or administrators or past cricketers or anyone, they only like good things said about them. So if you have an opinion which doesn't go down well, people tend to take it against you. If that's the nature of the game. But as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I'm not a decision maker, or I really don't know exactly what happens behind the scenes, because you have to be there and know exactly to say that. But yeah, I'd like to think that I have no enemies for that reason.
Okay, I mean, you're always playing diplomatic, but we understand your point because look, Sri Lankan cricket has served everyone really well, and including you. We'll finish it off some banter in terms of tongue in cheek because this is a picture as well. Now, you're a fantastic fielder, but not always, should we say, because you have to have the eyes in the ball. And here's you, and I think that is Samaravira, if I'm not wrong.
Samaravira and Atapattu.
Yeah. And in a field in practice. Now, you guys went through some rigorous drills as the Sri Lankan cricket back then. You had Tom Moody and great coaches, should I say, Dav Watmore as well comes to mind. Who was the best coach in fielding techniques and training? Can you spill us some gossip back in the day?
Oh yeah, we did have some good coaches, some different coaches who bring different things to the table. So what Tom Moody brought, Dav Watmore was different. So they addressed different areas, but a lot of them were friends. A lot of them made us feel comfortable and happy, and I think that's what it was about. Because I mentioned we had a good core team, and our team was all about flair. So it's about just having a happy environment for most of those times. If you're talking fielding alone, I'd like to name Trevor Chappell. It's a name that goes under the radar, but he was
Yeah.
awesome in his fielding drills and how he went about doing what he does. We also had Trevor Penny. I would say those two did stand out as fielding coaches. But there was a name that really did interest me as a coach, John Dyson.
Yeah.
He doesn't get much of a mention, but he's different. Great, odd sense of humor. But during his time, we tended to do really well, and everyone was quite happy and was able to do what they needed to do.
Right. I mean, great tales and just helping you kind of walk down that nostalgic path, I guess. Russell Arnold, thank you so much for your time on Life in Pictures. And of course, earlier, the chat that we had as well. We'll see you soon.
Cheers.